In this video, you will learn the deeper meaning of the planet Neptune in Kabbalistic astrology and mythology. You'll learn about the spiritual principle at the Tree of Life that underlies the astrological meaning of Neptune. Experience mystery knowledge in sincere and vivid form, presented in this instructional video. Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, Teaching the Western Mysteries. Neptune. It is bestowed by the sea god Neptune, the imagination and the vision. Basic meaning. The astrological sign of the planet Neptune is not a classical alchemical symbol. It represents a trident with a cross at its lower end. Neptune was only discovered in 1846 and is not a classical planet. Neptune belongs to the so-called trans-Saturnians, that is, those planets which move in a wide orbit around the Sun beyond Saturn. On the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, Neptune corresponds to the Sephirah Chochmah. The Sephirah Chochmah is on the spiritual plane. It corresponds to the positive, active, creative principle, for it is part of the bright pillar, Yachin, the pillar of creation, which is about the constructive forces of the universe. Chochmah is also associated with the mother letter Shin. Shin symbolizes the active fiery principle in the Tree of Life. Chochmah means wisdom. This means the wisdom that recognizes the higher will and strives to realize it. Chochmah is therefore associated with the stage of spiritual development of prophecy. Neptune is accordingly associated with visions, imagination, and the perception of inner images. Neptune in mythology. Tiamat is the equivalent of Neptune in Babylonian mythology. She represents the salt water and thus the oceans or seas. The Egyptian goddess Naunet corresponds most closely to Neptune's mythological function as god of the oceans. She symbolizes the Nile flood as well as the aspect of fertility and life-giving power. Naunet is the goddess of primordial waters and is considered the source of all earthly waters. Poseidon is the Greek god of the seas and oceans. He is also the god of earthquakes, whereby his most impressive form is the sea with its size and tremendous power. Finally, in the Roman pantheon we find the sea god Neptune. The god of water and springs is the namesake of the trans-Saturnian planet discovered only in the 19th century. Astrological meaning. The position of Neptune in the horoscope shows how and in which area of life we see visions and transcend the earthly. The virtue of Neptune is devotion to the spiritual vision of God. The vices of Neptune are reverie, illusion, and fantasy. Movement and speed. Neptune is retrograde for about 5 months each year. Neptune requires about 165 years for a complete orbit through the Zodiac. It takes about 14 years to pass through one sign of the Zodiac. Therefore, it is called a slow mover, and its effect is intergenerational. With all humans whose birth lies in the period between 1985 and 1997, Neptune is, for example, in the sign Capricorn. By the house position and the aspects in the birth chart of a person results in an individual interpretation and expression of Neptune. Domicile and exile. Neptune rules in the sign of Pisces and is in exile in Virgo. The effect of Neptune coincides with the nature of the sign Pisces. In Pisces, where devotion as well as profundity and letting go of earthly limitations are involved, the visionary power of imagination can be directed especially well to ideals and higher things. In the sign of Virgo, where it is about a practical arraying intelligence and about accuracy, the power of vision and imagination is limited by too narrow structures, and over-earthly themes prevent its free development. Neptune has no exaltation and no fall. Let us summarize the meanings of Neptune. The symbol of Neptune resembles a trident. The spiritual principle underlying Neptune is the Sephirah Chochmah, the principle of creative wisdom. The effect of Neptune is vision, seeing, and transcending the earthly. The virtue is devotion to the spiritual vision of God. And the vices are reverie, illusion, and fantasizing. In the sign of Pisces, Neptune is in its rulership. Neptune has no exaltation. His exile is in the sign Virgo. Neptune is not in fall in any sign. Neptune takes about 165 years to orbit through the Zodiac or radix. Write to us in the comments about how you experience the power of Neptune in your chart. Also, tell us if and why it is valuable for you to have learned about the spiritual principle underlying Neptune in this video. Leave us your like, and if not already done, subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and see you soon in the next video.